This is a hard topic. I want to talk about child predators, pedophilia, and their affiliation with the faggots. I've never had anything happen to me, but as I talk about this, it might seem like something happened to me. Just anyone that knows me, nothing happened to me. This is something I've spent a lot of time thinking about, especially now that I have a family, and I need to be aware of these things as a parent so I can protect my family. I need to be aware of the darker elements of society so I can protect my family, and so should all men, particularly. It is our duty as men to face the darkness, master the darkness, learn about the darkness, and study the darkness of the world. Because if you don't, then you are ignorant to it. And if you're ignorant to it, then you can't see it coming. You can't see it preying upon you or your family or your loved ones. And it will get you. And that's where my title comes from, is that the older generation, the boomers, there's some strengths, there's some weaknesses, but one thing that happened with a lot of them, a lot of parents, there we need to single out the boomers, just a lot of parents in general, it's not a fun thing to think about. Child molestation, child predator, rape, all the darker aspects of society that can especially affect your children and your partner. And so they don't ever think about it. They just write it off as bad, and we're gonna stay away from it. But they don't think about how it works. How did those child predators come to be? What are their strategies that they're going to try to use to get at your children and your family? And in order to understand those strategies, you have to kind of think like one. Because you have to think like them, is then you know what they're going to try to do. And no, people don't want to. You don't want to think like a child predator and child molestation. I get it, but you have to at some point, so you know what they're doing, so you can be a protector of your family and look out for them. And I can tell you how many stories I've heard where it's really just parents were not aware of these things. Their ignorance led to their children being susceptible to these attacks. And these attacks have the potential to ruin your child's life and your life permanently. So it's a big deal that needs to be discussed. And I want to get into the specifics, because that's the part that no one wants to get into, is the specifics of these darker topics. And it needs to be talked about and brought into the light so we can identify it, locate it, and then destroy it. Yeah. Let's get into the specifics. What makes a child predator? How does a child predator come to be? That is something that we need to figure out. How does humanity generate people that want to molest and attack and prey on children? I have a couple theories, I have a couple ideas. In the comments, you guys can add your theories and ideas too, because I need the community on this. I need us all to figure and flesh this out. And so we have a ready strategy to deal with this shit and solve this problem for the world, because it should have been solved a long time ago. I'm going to lay some groundwork. One thing is biology. This is a hard reality, and people that disagree with me, you're retarded, because history proves my point, is that people used to have children at a lot younger ages than what we did now. And it was natural. For actually the majority of human history, humans had children at younger ages. And I am in no way defending underage sex in any way or anything like that. But I'm just acknowledging the reality of history and how humans used to, up until only a couple hundred years ago, used to live for all of humans' existence, which is women got pregnant 14, 15, 16, 17. For the most part, they would get married, they would have kids, they wouldn't even get married, they just have kids super young. And in a lot of places in the world, that still happens to this day. It's only really in first world countries that's frowned upon, and that's fine. I kind of think it's for various reasons I'm not going to get into, because it's going to sidetrack this video, that there are some pros to waiting a little bit longer for women, especially women particularly, to be sexually active. Men too a little bit, but definitely more for women. But so the reason I bring that up is humans have a natural attraction to younger people, not little children, but 15, 16, 17 year olds. Now, that doesn't mean you can't overcome that. That doesn't mean you can't deny that. But to say that that doesn't exist, because when you look at all of history, every single girl was getting married and pregnant below the age of 18. And so what do you expect me to say? Do you expect me to deny the truth of history? I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be with 17, 18, 15, 16-year-olds. I want to be, I like older women. I like women that are more matured in that way, like in their in their lower 20s. But I'm not going to deny that there's not a biological evolutionary trait in us that wants youth, that is attracted to youth. You're stupid if you're going to deny that. And if you deny it, then it will actually have power over you and will probably trick you at some point in your life to doing something you probably shouldn't do because you're not aware of it. If you're aware of it, then you can control it, you can limit it, you can turn it off. But if you're not aware of it, it will get you. And that's the whole point of this, is that how this works, how the seduction happens, is the seduction banks on your ignorance, on you not paying attention to it, not learning about it. Become self-aware, and then you can start changing and controlling your life for the better. And yeah, so I'm going to post this for sure. And I hope all of you can understand and interpret that this is in no way a champion effort to say it's natural for people to be attracted to children. It's just, I'm stating a fact of history. And so we're competing with our own biology, which we should in some ways, to control this urge. And then to move on to the next point that I want to make about how child predators come to be, is sometimes they lose the biology, they lose control of themselves. They allow those urges to develop because a lot of time because they're not paying attention to them, and they develop without their knowledge, and then they become too strong and overwhelm these people, these pussies that can't handle their shit. Another way is a child predator preys upon a kid, introduces that kid to sexual activity, and the kid doesn't even know what it is because the kid's still innocent, shows them physical pleasure. The kid feels good and wants more of what made him feel good, and the kid doesn't know that it's bad as the kid is innocent. So the kid will go seek it out more from this person, and this person has a whole strategy of grooming you. They'll say, oh, you want to see something cool? Here's a picture of a naked girl. Here's some porn. Oh, you don't know what masturbation is? Oh, here. It's really cool. It feels really cool. It's like a magic trick. Watch. I'll help you do it. Boom. Grooming starts to happen. Now they're used to being touched, and it's all pleasure. That's why it's so seductive and it's so powerful, because the predator is selling pleasure to your child or to you. And that's one of the easiest things to sell to a human being, something that feels really good. It's like it sells itself, and so you have to be aware of why your child is so susceptible to these type of things, is because the predator is selling pleasure. It's selling one of the easiest, I'm just repeating myself, but it's that important, is selling one of the most seductive products on the market. And your innocent child knows no difference. And so now your child has been groomed by pleasure step by step. And then they, even sometimes in their innocence, it will start a chain reaction. They'll go to school and they'll show another kid, hey, do you know what masturbation is? Hey, do you know what porn is? Watch, look at this. Oh, that feel good? Yeah, let me show you how to masturbate. And then it just spreads. And now you have all these little children predators in school that are preying upon other kids. And sometimes they're innocent. They don't understand what they're doing is bad. Sometimes they do, though. And that's even worse, man. If they become aware of it being bad and they still do it because they were taught by their predator, the person that preyed on them, taught them how to become a predator, essentially, by preying upon them. Yeah, that's a step even worse. But yeah, those are two or three ideas of how child predators come to be. Child predator can make more child predators. And then our biology, there is an affinity, a natural attraction to youth. As youth means the person will produce better children. The person will produce more children. The person is healthier. The person will be alive longer. So it's a better option to reproduce with this younger person than a 60-year-old person. That I understand from a biological point of view, from a social, moral, and ethical point of view. Maybe we should wait a little bit. Maybe we should let people fully mature, male and female, mentally as well as physically, before they engage in these extremely life-altering practices. And we already do that, and kudos to us. So those are a couple ways that I think child predators come about, and step by step of how they prey on children, the strategies they use. They seduce you through pleasure, incrementally. First, just a picture. Oh, you like that? That gave you some endorphins and serotonin in your brain when you saw that naked woman or that naked man or whatever, or that porn act on. And then they'll be like, touch. Oh, does that feel good? You don't know about masturbation? Does that feel good? And then they'll escalate it until it gets to full blown hedonist debauchery, sex, play, kinky fetish shit, and they'll keep escalating it. And to segue into another thing that's very similar is I think most of the gay community is created from this way. Is that an older guy that likes men, that says he's gay, preys upon a younger guy that is kind of sexually ignorant and shows them, hey, this feels good. Hey, you want to masturbate together? I can show you how to do it. Here's some porn that your parents wouldn't let you get. I'm the cool uncle. I show you the fun stuff that feels good. And this kid, before he's had a chance to develop his own sexuality, before the natural attraction to females has developed in their puberty stage, has already been sidelined and overridden by this hedonistic gay sexual pleasure that is happening from a gay predator. I've lived with gay people in my life. I've hung out with gay people constantly throughout my life. I'm from fucking California. They're everywhere. And all of them have a grooming story. Like, I don't think I've met one that wasn't groomed. Some of them don't know they've been groomed to this day. They're full fucking fledged adults, and they lack so much self-awareness that they don't even know that they've been groomed. But they'll say that they had an uncle that gave them porn. You were groomed. An adult gave you porn as a child. That's grooming. Period. Or they had some older guy that seduced them at a young age when they were still figuring it out, and all of a sudden now they are the adults, and they want the younger guy, and they want to show the younger guy all the cool fantasy pleasure tricks to get attention. And that's the cycle, man. Like the gays, it's not a gene. You're not born gay. Show me the gay gene. There is no gay gene. If you find it, let me know, and I'll change my point of view. But as far as I know, there has never been identified a gene that is gay. And then also, how can there be when gays don't reproduce for the most part? Even if there was a gay gene, which there never was, it wouldn't last because gays don't reproduce on average, because they kind of like to gargle ballsack and bust nuts in each other's buttholes, and that's not how you have a child. So that's a little light. I know it's a darker opinion, but it's unpopular opinions. That's the point of my show. It's the intellectual circus. This is a conversation that for sure needs to happen amongst everyone, and especially men need to be talking about things like this all the time, especially if you have children, if you have a family, or if you have like cousins, nieces, and nephews that you care about, and you feel like there's no one else in the family that is aware and is aware of this and what's going on in the world, and that there's these child predators, and this is the strategies that they use to get your children. It's your duty, man. You're a fucking man, and part of being a man is that your job is to protect, and part of being a good protector is being aware of the dangers and doing what's necessary to be aware of the dangers, and that is having these hard conversations, acknowledging these darker truths about the human nature. And because if you're not aware of these darker truths, you are susceptible, and everyone that you're supposed to be protecting is susceptible as well. So it's your duty. to know these things. We will have more episodes on all of my opinions in the future. And we'll get deeper and I'll get better at communicating them. But yeah, this is the start. Thanks for watching. Shout out to my annoying friends who are pestering me if I'm off by 24 hours on my video post and like, where's the video? Gratitude, I guess, for you guys for being annoying pests. I appreciate it. Thank you. I need to give you guys a tip. Let me see if I wrote a tip down, but let's see if I can even find it. Tip of the day, tip of the week is, the last one was wear condoms. That's a fantastic advice. Sage advice. Tip. Oh, I do have one. Don't eat sugar from any source that isn't part of the food naturally. Y'all ain't gonna do it. I don't even do that one, but it's still what you should do. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Yeah, have a good one.